Glasses I've ever seen on. At some point this morning, I'm going to wear them. But we put together a great squad, and we had a preview of the NBA Finals last night. That's right, Celtics and Thunder. We will see these teams again in June, maybe 7 times. Jaylen Brown, SGA, here we go. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. Thunder led early in this game much of the night, Monica.
Yeah, they did. Now, this is the 5th game of a 5-game road trip for these guys, but they had a lead in the 3rd quarter.
Jason Tatum had a tough shooting night, 5 of 12 from the floor, scored 19. Celtics cutting into that margin, and then watch this. Look at Kata, throwing it down.
He's really been sort of a big-time gift this year for this Boston Celtics squad, anchoring that defense, being a force on offense.
And then Jaylen Brown is the gift that keeps on giving. Celtics a 5-point lead entering the 4th. Now I want you to watch what Jaylen Brown does to SGA here. We all know what SGA's signature move is. Look at Brown do exactly that.
I mean, these guys are all spending so much time in the gym. If it works, I'm going to try it too, man.
Jaylen Brown had 31. SGA had 33. He kept OKC in this thing in the 4th quarter. You mentioned it's the end of a long road trip. Maybe in moments they looked a little like it. That's SGA to Isaiah Joe. They cut it to 6, but they would get no closer than that. Final minute, Jaylen Brown, say goodnight. 31 points, 8 boards, 8 assists. Celtics win it by 10. Something of a statement win. Really good and interesting game. For Brown, it was his 33rd 30-point game this year, which is tied for the 5th most in a season in Celtic history. They still have, about 9-10 games left to play. Larry Bird had 37 in the 84-85 season. That would be the next one on the way. So Monica is here, and our buddy Vince Goodwill is up with us early this morning. Vinny was there at the game last night in Boston. What's your number one takeaway from the Celtics win last night, Vince?
Greeny, the Celtics look like they can be playing in June. And there were so many moments last night, particularly early in that first half, where Oklahoma City looked like they were going to pull away with the game. We've seen this so many times. OKC runs away and hides, and that's why SGA sat for so many games in the 4th quarter. And they couldn't because of Boston's 3-point shot, because of Boston's defense. And you look up, and in the 3rd quarter, Boston takes control. So to me, that says, I'm not sure if Boston is the favorite, right? But like I said before, in previous shows, you can no longer dismiss them now that Jason Tatum is back. Jason Tatum looked like a reasonable version of himself. Jalen Williams on the other side, it was his 2nd game back from hamstring injury. He looked like he needs to be that 2nd guy for Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. We talk so much about the MVP candidates. The 2nd guy, to me, was the difference in last night's game.
It's really well put. I'm glad that you were there and you got that first-hand look at it for us. Monica, I'm going to make a comparison that might not sound obvious at first. But the way I always talk about, people ask me who's the best golfer in the world. I always say, if everyone plays their very best, it's so-and-so. Forever it was Tiger, and now you could say whoever you want. If everyone plays their best in the East,
Greeny.
Celtics, Pistons, the order in which they right now sit actually are Pistons, Celtics, Knicks, Cavs. If everyone played their best, which is the best team in the Eastern Conference?
If everyone plays their best in the Eastern Conference, the best team is the Celtics.
It's Boston, right? That's what I'm trying to say. Like, it feels to me sort of almost obvious that when you get Tatum back, if they actually get themselves to whatever the best version they can be of themselves is, you got a team that was right there all year long, and now you're adding a first-team All-NBA star. It seems to me clearly, if everyone plays their best, the Celtics are the best team.
Yeah, I found myself watching that game, and it affirmed my thought that the Eastern Conference is going to have to go through Boston, whoever's going to be the champion when it comes to that. But I think you make a great point about Jalen Williams, Vince, because to me, all things considered, I thought the Thunder looked a little bit tired. But when I look at what the Celtics can do, defensively, what they've been able to do this season, offensively, what they've been able to do this season, the return of Jason Tatum, only 8 games in, y'all. Like, he's going to continue to get better and get more comfortable as the intensity continues to arise. Like, there's an experience there, y'all, and we've all seen it in sports. Like, you don't know until you know, and the Celtics know. They have been through the games, the paces, the travels, the commitment, the scouting, all of that, which that will get ratcheted up in April.
Before I go back to Vince, can we put that graphic back up that we had a moment ago at the bottom of the screen of our analytics and the chances of getting to the finals? It's the first time I've seen it, and I'll confess, I am really surprised. We have the Celtics are 4th again. This is that's the draft. No, that's not the one I'm talking about. I'm talking about the ESPN analytics that come out of the East. It was up there just a moment ago. That's it. Thank you. Our analytics, this is our research. This is Hembo and his brethren view the Celtics as the 4th likeliest team to come out of the East. I find that fascinating. Vinny, again, you were there last night. Much is being made of Tatum and him not shooting the ball so well. Earlier this morning, Tim McMahon was sort of blasting that very notion. He's 8 games back from an Achilles tear. The fact that he looks as good and is playing as many minutes as he is seems remarkable to me. What do you make of the way Tatum is playing?
Shocker that Tim McMahon is poo-pooing some actual numbers or anything like that. That never happens. I think with Tatum, the important thing is that he looks fluid. I think that's what you want to see. You want to see him be able to get to his spots. He's not a player that's overly athletic and not going to wow you with that eye-popping athleticism. You want to see him wow you with the skill set. And the thing that popped out to me is that per 36 minutes, he's taking more shots now than he's ever taken in his career, which means he's being really aggressive and trying to get there. When you're recovering from an injury, the regular season games, I'm okay with that. But when you're playing every other day, and Greeny, you know the playoff schedule, after the first weekend of the playoffs where they stretch the games out, you go into playing game 1 on Monday, game 2 on Wednesday, then you travel, then you play again. I want to see what he looks like when you're asking a player recovering from an Achilles injury to play the highest level of intensity basketball within 48 hours of each other, night after night with the scouting and everything else. He may be able to, from a skill set, be able to get there. I wonder how his body is going to hold up.
I think that's a totally fair question, Vince, but I also think they knew that too going into this. And so there's probably some things done behind the scenes to sort of mimic that. The thing that I will say about this, though, we can all deduce the numbers and look at the percentages. One thing that's not going to happen, ain't no team going to let him shoot. You're not going to play off of him. So even if he is not 100% Jason Tatum, like, he's still going to create spacing, going to take up space, and has a great basketball IQ to find his guys.
Look, that game last night is the last 2 NBA champions, right? We had the Thunder on one side, we had the Celtics on the other. I was about to say they're the favorites to get back again. They actually aren't the favorites to get back again, but I'm not convinced they shouldn't be. Much more hoops all morning long. But as I told you, we had the start of the baseball season.
One of their challenges. So this was a big message, but just so refreshing to see. I can tap my helmet as a catcher or pitcher, be like, let's run that back, and let's see if that was a strike or a ball. Look,
baseball very quietly, maybe not so quietly, and without getting a whole lot of credit for it, they tend to continue to innovate with things they do. The pace of the game a couple of years ago, now it's moving forward faster than a lot of people thought that they would do it. All right, coming up. The best highlight in sports at this point is Victor Wembanyama. What he did last night just continues to be astonishing. 9 games to go. I'll tell you exactly how he winds up winning the MVP. And then up next, Ty Simpson had his pro day yesterday. But what it's going to do later this week is the really important part. Wait till you hear where he's headed next. You're going to hear it right after this. Give me that swing. Show me that, just that quick cut. But I'm getting out of the way.